Hello everyone, and this is Blade93, also known as Blade93. I haven't done this in a while by using Audacity, and I hope you will respect that because I've been busy finishing off Let's Plays on my Blade channel. Now anyways, here we go. I am going to read and talk about Half-Life Decay. If you've never heard of Half-Life Decay, then it's your loss. No joke, but hey. Here's where you're gonna start hearing about it right now. Half-Life Decay. Half-Life Decay is a multiplayer-only expansion pack for Valve's first-person shooter Half-Life, developed by Gearbox Software and published by Sierra Online. Decay was released as part of the PlayStation 2 version of Half-Life in 2001. It is the third expansion pack for Half-Life, and like its predecessors, Decay returns to the setting and timeline of the original story, albeit portraying the story from the viewpoint of a different set of protagonists. Two women scientists working in the Black Mesa research facility. Decay is a cooperative multiplayer game designed to be played by two people working together to pass through the game's levels. Decay was not a critical success, but was received with some positivity by the video game journalists. Many reviewers felt the game was fun to play through with a friend, but that its more puzzle-orientated gameplay somewhat detracted from the overall experience. A number of reviews stated that the game simply felt little more than an extra add-on for the PlayStation 2 version of Half-Life. Now, Half-Life Decay is part of the PS2 version, but you will know why, but here's the thing. Me and Ray still haven't finished Half-Life Decay yet on my Blade channel, because we've been doing our own thing. Isn't that right, Ray? You heard it there, folks. Now, the gameplay. As in the case with the other games in the Half-Life series, Decay is a first-person shooter. Like the other title, it is based on. Decay requires players to engage in combat with hostile, non-player characters, also known as NPCs, and complete various puzzle-solving tasks to advance through the game. However, Decay differs from Half-Life and its first two expansion packs, Opposing Force and Blue Shift, in that it is designed for cooperative multiplayer gameplay. This requires players to work together to progress through the game's levels and complete puzzles as they arise in game. Although intended to be played by two people in split screen mode, Decay can still be played by a single player. In this case, the player can only control one character at a time and can switch between the two characters quickly when not in use. A character has sufficient artificial intelligence to defend themselves, but otherwise does not move from where they have been left by the player. In Half-Life, players usually hold on one moment. In Half-Life, players usually fight alone and only occasionally encounter friendly non-player characters who assist them, such as security guards, scientists, and while if you ever play Half-Life, you would understand that as well. Half-Life is one of my favorite played first-person shooters. I pretty much have a playthrough on my channel if you want to watch it. Isn't that right, Ray? Now, anyways, enough distractions of that. While Decay still features levels where this is the case, significant sections in Decay are dedicated to work with friendly non-player characters, usually escorting them to various objectives and protecting them in firefights. An array of enemy characters from Half-Life populate the game, including alien lifeforms such as headcrabs and vertigons, as well as human soldiers sent in to contain the alien threat. The players have access to a limited selection of Half-Life's weaponry to assist them in the game. Although developed after Opposing Force, no non-player characters or weapons from the earlier expansion appear in Decay. The game is unique in the context of the Half-Life series. It is really unique in that it is the only game divided into separate missions, each with a specific objective to pursue. Instead of consisting of a single unbroken narrative, how players perform in each mission is ranked at the conclusion of the level as a grade from A to F. This score is based on each player's accuracy with weapons, the number of kills they acquired, and the amount of damage they sustained during the course of the mission. Should players successfully complete the game's 9 missions with A's on every level, they are given access to a bonus cooperative mission in which they can play as a pair of Vortigons, as well as the ability to play through the PlayStation 2 version of the original Half-Life as a Vortigon. There you go. That's the most awesome thing of the PS2 version. Now, you can get the mod known as Point of View, and you can play as a Vortigon that way. It is so unique to play as one. Now, in the PS2 version of Half-Life, I normally can choose to unlock Alien Mode, and then going through the the Hazard Course, and then bam, it lets me play as the Vortigaunt like that too. Now, the plot of this expansion, I almost had a stroke. Pretty much what you had to do is doing the stuff of when Dr. Freeman what the fuck am I trying to say? Pushes the freaking goddamn experiment, which is a Zen crystal, into the anti-mass spectrometer or something? Is that what it's called? I don't remember what it's called, but it's called the anti-mass something. I know that. It's just been a while since I played Half-Life because I completed it on hard difficulty, and it is hard as shit. Oh god, you guys are going to see me play Half-Life Source on hard. Oh god. I'm in deep shit with that. Oh god, that's bad. By doing my gameplay let's play of it too. Oh god. Anyways, plot. Decay is set in the same location and time frame as Half-Life. Half-Life takes place at a laboratory called the Black Mesa Research Facility, situated in a remote desert in New Mexico. In Half-Life, the player takes on the role of Gordon Freeman, a scientist involved in an accident that opens an interdimensional portal to the border world of Zen, allowing the alien creatures of Zen to attack the facility. The player guides Freeman in an attempt to escape the facility and close the portal, ultimately traveling to Zen to do so. Like the previous expansions, Decay shows the story of Half-Life from the perspective of a set of protagonists. In Decay, players assume the roles of Colette Green and Gina Cross, the two doctors who work in the same labs as Freeman, analyzing anomalous materials and specimens retrieved from Zen in prior teleportation experiments. After the experiment that causes the alien invasion takes place, Green and Cross must work with two ranking members of the science team, Dr. Richard Keller and Dr. Rosenberg. Huh? Huh? Dr. Rosenberg? You remember that guy? The very same scientist you have to guard and help in Blue Shift? Yeah, him. When you're playing as Barney Calhoun in Blue Shift, which I normally call Blue Shit nowadays now. I don't know why. Just for the lols, I guess. To contain and stabilize the deteriorating situation in Black Mesa. Decay begins with Gina Cross and Colette Green arriving at the Anomalous Materials Labs at Black Mesa and reporting to Dr. Keller, who is readying the day's analysis of an unknown specimen. Despite the objections of Dr. Rosenberg to pushing the analysis equipment beyond its design capacities, Cross and Green are assigned to assist setting up the experiment for Gordon Freeman. When Freeman inserts the specimen into the scanning beam, however, it triggers a resonance cascade, causing massive damage to the facility and teleporting alien creatures. Yeah. Now, if you may know, the resonance cascade in Half-Life was because of that crystal. That crystal caused the resonance cascade and causing massive fucking damage to the entire facility. Trust me, if you never played Half-Life, play it. I mean it. You would understand it better that way. Isn't that right, Ray? Or you can just watch the playthrough. I don't care. Anyways, and teleporting alien creatures into the base. Keller and Rosenberg agreed that Black Mesa cannot deal with the situation on its own, and so decide to call for military assistance. Cross and Green escort Rosenberg to the surface when he sends a distress signal to the military. However, the military are ordered not only to contain the situation, but to silence the base by killing its employees. Rosenberg elects to stay behind to meet with the military on arrival, and Cross and Green return to Keller. Once united with Keller, Cross and Green work to seal the dimensional tear to stop the invasion. The military arrive and try to remove all personnel as well as the alien force. After resetting key equipment to prevent a second dimensional rift, the two are tasked with preparing a satellite for launch. The satellite, which is launched by Freeman in Half-Life, is used in tandem with ground-based equipment to significantly weaken the effects of the resonance cascade. Keller tasks Cross and Green with activating the set of prototype equipment, a displacement beacon, which through the satellite may be able to seal the dimensional rift. However, after activating the beacon, both characters are caught in a harmonic reflux, a distortion caused by the rift. Despite this, Cross and Green are able to return safely, and Keller congratulates them on their success. The unlockable Vortigaunt mission provides background information explaining how the orange crystals used by the rift sealing machine in Half-Life Decay are acquired, and used by the Nihilith during the final boss in Half-Life. The two-player controlled Vortigaunts battle through Marines and Black Ops in the underground Black Mesa complex to find the orange crystals. Now, the Black Ops are pretty much with male assassins to female assassins. Now, both of those are annoying if you played Opposing Force and Half-Life all together, including Blue Shift, or even Black Mesa itself. You'll find that really frustrating. In the back of a military van, at this point, the screen fades and the mission is declared a success. It is presumed that the Nymph warps them back to Zen and installs the crystals in his cave. Okay. That is something. Now, you get to know a lot of things if you play that mission. Oh my. Now, before I start continuing, there are a lot of things I would like to say. I've played a lot of the Half-Life games. And yeah. Now, I've pretty much played it a long time, and yeah, it deserves its respect for a game that was released in 1998. And it was a really great game for its time. And I've played the game a lot, to be honest, and I haven't played Half-Life 2 in a while either right now, because other videos. Anyways, now, now if you excuse me, I need some water here. Anyways, to development. Then I will say my final thoughts. A cooperative Half-Life game was first alluded to by publisher Sierra Online in November 2000 with the announcement of a PlayStation 2 version of Half-Life. At the time, however, it was unclear how a cooperative version of Half-Life would be implemented. The developers, Gearbox Software, were still experimenting with finding the most balanced number of players to build a cooperative game around. By E3 2001, the game had acquired the title Decay, named after the scientific concept of extinguishable decay, for consistency with the scientific names used by previous Half-Life titles. With the E3 convention only provided a demonstration of the main Half-Life PlayStation 2 game, further details were released relating to Decay's premise and story, as well as confirming that the cooperative mode was to be designed for 2 players. The game's use of new model sets were also showcased. These new models were updated versions of Gearbox high-definition pack for Blue Shift, featuring higher numbers of polygons and animations. Features such as facial expressions. The enhanced models were around twice as detailed as those in the high definition pack, which itself was of a much higher quality than the original models in Half-Life. Media updates through the months following E3 showed various screenshots and the trailer to the game. On August 18th, 2001, Sierra announced that Decay was nearly complete and would be submitted to PlayStation 2 manufacturer Sony for verification within days. the entire Half-Life for PlayStation 2 package. Now that achieved gold status on October 30th, 2001, and the game was released on November 14th, 2001. In October 2005, work was begun by a group of Ukrainian developers to port Decay over to Windows as a modification for both the old World Opponent network and current Steam versions of Half-Life. The port relied on the discovery of a method that allowed Decay's PlayStation PS2 game files to be deciphered, thereby allowing the files to be ported to Windows. The port went into the beta development stage in December 2007 and was released publicly on September 23rd, 2008. The port was received well by the journalists in the industry. GameSpy site Planet Half-Life noted that it was a shame that an official PC version of Decay never emerged, while British journalist Alec Muir stated that it was fantastic to have this short but sweet lost Half-Life episode on PC at last, and even has something the PS2 version didn't: online play. Now, if you want to read the reception and the rest of and read this yourself, go right ahead. I'll put the link in the description below for this. Now, my final thoughts of Decay. It is good, but it can be a pain in the butt if you're playing by yourself. So I suggest not playing by yourself. Play it with a friend to play it yourself with. And yeah, Half-Life Decay is pretty good, and also the mod is also on ModDB. So go for it and download it for yourself. And you have to put it in the Half-Life folder, so keep that in mind. Anyways, this has been Light Dark Blade Light Dark Blade 93, also known as Shadow Blade 93. And I hope you enjoy this video. Peace out. Keep on the stealth. Laters. Bye, everyone.